My name is Helen. I'm 62 years old. I live in a small town in Ohio. My husband passed away 8 years ago. Since then, I have lived alone. My only child is my son, Ryan. He's 32 years old. He has always been the most important person in my life. Ryan and I were very close. We talked almost every day. Every Sunday, he came to my house for dinner. We laughed together, shared stories, and enjoyed each other's company. I was proud of the man he had become. One summer evening, Ryan called me with exciting news. "Mom, I met someone," he said. His voice was full of happiness. "That's wonderful," I replied. Her name was Jessica. Ryan talked about her all the time. He said she was smart, beautiful, and kind. I was happy to see him so excited. A few weeks later, I met Jessica. She was polite and friendly. She smiled often and said nice things. At first, I liked her very much. But after several months, things began to change. Ryan stopped calling as often. Sometimes I would leave a message and wait days for a response. When I invited him to dinner, he usually said he had other plans. I missed him, but I tried to understand. He was building a new life.
One evening, I called Ryan. "How are you, sweetheart?" I asked. "I'm busy, Mom," he replied. His voice sounded cold. "Okay, I just wanted to check on you. We can talk later." But later never came. Weeks turned into months. Ryan became more distant. Every conversation felt uncomfortable. One day, I finally asked him what was wrong. There was a long silence. Then he said, "Jessica thinks you interfere too much in my life." I was shocked. "What? Ryan, I only care about you." "I don't know, Mom. Maybe she has a point." His words broke my heart. After that day, everything changed. Ryan rarely answered my calls. Sometimes I sat by the living room window in the evening and wondered why my son had become a stranger. Almost a year passed. Then one afternoon, I received surprising news from a neighbor who knew Ryan. Jessica had left him. Not only that, she had been secretly seeing another man for several months. My heart hurt for Ryan. No matter what had happened between us, he was still my son. I wanted to call him, but I didn't know if he wanted to hear my voice, so I waited. A few weeks later, on a cold autumn evening, I was sitting in my living room reading a book. The sun had already set. The house was quiet. Suddenly, someone knocked on the front door. I looked at the clock. It was nearly 9 o'clock. I slowly walked to the door and opened it. My heart stopped. Ryan was standing there. He looked exhausted. His eyes were red. His shoulders were low. He seemed like a completely different person. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he looked down and quietly said, "Mom, I'm sorry." Tears filled my eyes. "Come inside," I said softly.
We sat at the kitchen table. Ryan stared at his hands. For several seconds, he said nothing. Finally, he spoke. "I made a huge mistake." I listened quietly. "I stopped listening to you. I pushed you away. I believed things that weren't true." His voice shook. "When Jessica left me, I realized how wrong I had been." A tear rolled down his face. "I hurt the one person who always loved me." I reached across the table and gently held his hand. "Ryan," I said, "everyone makes mistakes." He looked at me with tears in his eyes. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." I squeezed his hand. "You are my son. You will always be my son." Ryan began to cry. For the first time in a long time, I saw the little boy I used to tuck into bed every night. That evening, we talked for hours. We shared memories. We laughed. We cried. Slowly, the wall between us began to disappear. Before leaving, Ryan stood by the front door. "Thank you, Mom," he whispered. I smiled. "This will always be your home." He hugged me tightly. As I watched him drive away, I felt peace in my heart. Life is not always easy. People make mistakes. Sometimes they trust the wrong people. Sometimes they lose their way. But true love never disappears. A mother's love can survive pain, distance, and heartbreak. And sometimes, on a quiet evening, it can guide someone back home.